Okay, so what happens when you give the smartest people on Earth the ultimate prize and they just turn on each other? Today, we're going to break down a framework for survival, one that was born not from some great victory, but from a total, catastrophic failure of power, ambition, and, well, human nature. Let's get into it. This one sentence. This is really the heart of the whole story. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a really stark reminder that just because we can invent something or discover something doesn't mean we're actually ready for it. This idea sets the stage for a pretty radical proposal on how to save ourselves from ourselves. So where did all of this come from? Well, it all started with a huge promise and an even bigger failure. You see, the story of the Code of Caution is really a direct response to the collapse of what should have been humanity's single greatest achievement. I want you to just picture this. You've got this secret group, a kind of scientific dream team. We're talking the world's most brilliant scientists, linguists, philosophers, all brought together for one reason: to decode a truth so massive it could literally rewrite history. And they had unlimited resources to do it. But here's the twist. Instead of kicking off some new golden age, the sheer weight of what they found just crushed them. The source material describes a total, complete breakdown. The incredible power they were about to get their hands on didn't unite them. No, it turned them into enemies. And when you dig into why it all fell apart, it wasn't a technical problem. It wasn't a bug in the code. It was deeply, fundamentally human. We're talking chaos, infighting, and outright betrayal. They just couldn't agree on what to do with this ultimate strategic prize, and their inability to manage that power led to their complete and utter collapse.
Now, watching this entire disaster unfold was one central figure, the man who funded the whole project, who truly believed in its promise, and who was left standing in the rubble, forced to confront the terrifying implications of what he'd just seen.
What's really interesting is that the source material doesn't paint this benefactor as some kind of hero. Not at all. He's presented as a tragic figure. He saw with his own two eyes that even humanity's best and brightest simply weren't ready for this kind of power. And this left him with this profound weight of responsibility and, as the text puts it, existential despair. And this brings us to the benefactor's big realization, the turning point of this whole story. After seeing ambition just lead to pure chaos, he understood something crucial: that the greatest act of power, of courage, wasn't to charge ahead. It was to know when to stop. This is the moral foundation for everything that comes next.
So, what do you do when you realize humanity is its own biggest threat? Well, you don't go and build a bigger weapon. You build a better set of rules. Let's take a look at the benefactor's really radical answer to this problem of our own self-destruction.
You know, when you're faced with a crisis that was caused by casing some new advanced tech, the obvious answer seems like, well, more tech, right? A better AI, a smarter security system, something like that. But the benefactor realized the problem wasn't in the tools. It was in us, the people using them. This right here is a massive shift in thinking. The solution wasn't going to be a piece of hardware or some new algorithm. It was going to be a piece of wisdom. A warning designed to be passed down through generations to keep us from making the same catastrophic mistakes over and over again. And here it is, the Code of Caution. Now, the most important thing to understand here is that this isn't some law that's going to be enforced by armies or police. It's a voluntary framework. Its power doesn't come from force, it comes from its moral argument, which is basically adopt these principles or face the kind of collapse that history shows is pretty much inevitable. It's an appeal to our collective will to survive. So the code itself is built on a few key articles, and you'll see that each one is a direct lesson learned from the consortium's failure. You can think of them as pillars of humility, specifically designed to force us to slow down and think. Article 1 gets right to the point. It reframes the problem by creating a whole new category of danger. It calls any technology that's just too powerful for us right now, anything that could let us harness all the energy of our planet or go interstellar, it calls that a weapon of ambition. And the rule is simple. You can think about it, you can run the numbers, but you absolutely cannot build it. Full stop. Next up, Article 2 is a direct shot at the secrecy and the infighting that destroyed the consortium. It flat out forbids any single group, no nation, no corporation, nobody, from acting alone on this stuff. Instead, it demands unified consent.
That means if you want to deploy world-changing tech, it needs global, transparent, and public approval. It replaces the secret backroom deal with a global town hall.
Okay, now this might be the biggest philosophical shift in the whole code. Article 4 completely flips the script on innovation. For all of history, it's been enough for a scientist to prove their tech works. But not anymore. Now, they have to prove that we, as a species, are ready for it. Can we handle the risks? Are we mature enough? Do people even get what it is? It's a fundamental test of our collective wisdom.
All right, so what if we get it wrong anyway? What's the backup plan? That's Article 5, the fail-safe protocol. But just look at these requirements. The off switch has to be public, it has to be simple, and it has to be universally understood, taught like reading and writing. The power to turn off some transformative technology isn't held by an elite few. It's given to everyone. Power ultimately rests with the people.
And the code doesn't just stop with the here and now. Its final articles are all about making a promise, a covenant with the future, to make sure the lessons from the past are never, ever forgotten, and that the rights of those who come after us are protected.
This really sums up the code's forward-looking mission. I mean, check out Article V, the intergenerational veto. It basically says no generation can make a decision that can't be undone by the next one. That's wild. Then Article 7 demands that at least 60% of adults actually understand the tech before it's used. No more black boxes. And finally, Article 8, the memorial obligation. It forces us to remember our failures, to build monuments to them, so that we don't repeat them. It's all about protecting the future.
And so when you boil it all down, it leaves us with this one massive question. The Code of Caution might be from a fictional story, but it asks something that is incredibly real for all of us right now. As our own technological power just keeps accelerating, you have to wonder, if our power outpaces our wisdom, is choosing not to act actually the wisest choice we can make?